And that whilst your purpose
that you've signed up to and we share together is to be your best in all you do.
And greatness can only be measured by the difference between before you showed up and after you showed up. If I look at the number of people whose lives have been transformed by your voice, that's how we measure your greatness. This is about thirst. This is about desire. This is about fulfilling purpose. This is about becoming who you were created to be. And so I just want to say to you guys, so that we put this in the right perspective, this is not a course. This is an encounter. And whatsoever will happen here, what I will need of you is to not only open your minds, I want you to open your heart and open your spirit and allow yourself to be sensitive at all levels. Because when it comes to speaking, right, the purpose of speaking is not money. So when we say speak for gold, it might sound like an attractive title because many of you guys are looking to earn from your speaking gift. But we are going to need to make sure we put it in the right context, that the day you speak for money, your voice will lose its power. So let's talk about this thing that I call the anatomy of superior value. How to make and create superior value. You know you are gifted, but your bank account does not reflect the gifting that you carry. There are many times when you look around you, look at a nation like Nigeria, we know we are blessed, but we see poverty in the midst of plenty, and you ask yourself, why? How can we be so blessed and yet have such little results? And it's very interesting, like I said, that it's because many times there is a mental block. So let me quickly say to you what a stronghold is. A limiting belief is everything that essentially suggests to you what you cannot do, what you will not do, what you have not done, and what you are incapable of. And a limiting belief is not a problem until it becomes your limiting belief. Many of us have limiting beliefs about money, about wealth, about our capacities. First thing I want you to understand is this. Your voice was given to you for a purpose. Write it down. Your voice is given to you to be able to deliver your message. But if you are not delivering the message, you cannot receive the reward for which the voice was given to you. Your voice must translate the message into a package that can help you receive gold. The process of delivering the purpose for your voice is called value. Now, when that message is put into a product, it will be exchanged. Each and every one of you was created with a message that is a solution. The message was not to you, the messenger. The message was through you, the messenger, to the people who will need that solution. You were equipped for purpose, and you were resourced for purpose. You were designed for purpose. You were equipped for purpose. And you were resourced for purpose. And whilst your design and all the components, all your equipment is in you, guess what? The resource, the reward was placed in others. And it was placed in others shrouded in a package called problem, need, desire, aspiration, frustration. All the things that they wanted but don't have is the justification for them to exchange what they're carrying for you to deliver what they need to them. So, every time a solution is delivered safely to a people who carry a problem, whether it's a desire, a need, or an aspiration, bam, value is created. And every time value is safely delivered, I said, wealth is going to be given as a reward. And if you manage that wealth, you multiply it, and you maintain it well, it will turn into prosperity. But I just want to quickly say to you that, however, the value that is given to the solution is dependent on the problem that that solution meets. The real reward that is given to you, the reason why money is entrusted in your hand, is not so you can eat with golden plates or golden spoons or hand over golden forks and knives to your children. It's that you are able to understand how, when you create value, you receive value so you can reinvest value. So let's talk about what happens. What about when you realize that there are problems all across the world, but there is no solution? Obviously, value will disappear. Because as long as you do not solve the problems of your time and you complain about it, you are misusing your voice. The purpose for which your voice was given to you was to create. Every time you speak, there must be a before and an after. You are not meant to describe a static situation. You are meant to change a situation because you spoke. And when you don't speak, the problem remains. There's no solution, there's no value, there's no wealth. And unfortunately, prosperity becomes poverty. Until solution comes up. And you use your voice to create value. And the reward of wealth is given. And not only for you, but for an entire generation. You can turn around poverty into prosperity. So why has your voice been given to you? Why are we poor? Because we keep passing over the opportunities to use our voice to create change. And we don't do it once, we don't do it twice, we don't do it 3 times, we do it repeatedly. So I want to show you what I call 15 key areas that human beings have desires, needs, and aspirations. And we're just going to go through this very quickly. There is at least one that will cause your stomach to kick. Once you see it, write it down or circle it, if you've written down already. So I'm going to start. Feeding. There is a need for 33 million houses to be built in Nigeria. Why have they not been built? Because somebody's voice has not activated that process. It's clothing, relationship, health. Whenever you see the one that is your own, just write it down. Transportation, communication, education, finance, leisure and entertainment, safety and security, governance and politics, productivity, power and energy. What the core of your focus is, therefore, becomes what you measure after your intervention. So how do I know that you care about helping the organization earn more money? I want you to write this down. Number one, the leadership of organizations today, because of the change and the disruption that we are seeing, they're looking to, number one, gain clarity. Number two, they need alignment of how to bring their teams, their the systems, their structure, their investments, all of those things in alignment to be able to deliver the value. And the third most important thing they need right now is execution from an excited and an engaged workforce. I'm going to say that again. 3 things that organizations need. If you are talking to any organization today and you're talking to the leadership of that organization, you want to add value, you want them to listen to you, you must be speaking to them in 3 key languages. Number 1, clarity. But if your voice is sent to the human being, just an, people who will consume the value that you create, then you have to be able to speak to them in 5 key needs that human beings have. And many of you already know this, but we'll just go through it. So the first one is called the physiological needs. And basically that's the need for air, to, in other words, breathe, and health, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction, all of those things, Number 2, the need for safety. And this that says safety needs. There's a personal security, employment, resources, health. Number 3, what is called love and belonging. It's a need. The need for friendship, intimacy, family, a sense of connection. And then there's the 4th need, which is called the need for self-esteem. Some people call it ego, the human ego. There's a need for respect, for self-esteem, for status, for recognition, for strength, for freedom, capacity to choose. And at the highest level of the human need is the desire to become the most that one can be. If you're going to be able to identify these needs and meet them, there are 4 key things that you must learn how to do. We're going to talk about it over the next weeks. Number 1 is you must accept responsibility for the problems that you did not create, but which you can solve. So every time somebody who's sent to the transport area, for instance, or mass transit, let's imagine if that was where you were sent to. When you see people at the bus stop, you didn't create that problem, but you must accept responsibility for it. Please write this down. You cannot solve a problem that you do not accept responsibility for. Think about the word responsibility. How many words do you think come together to form the word responsibility? So if you look at it, there are actually 3 words that form responsibility. There's response, there's I, and there's ability. Until I respond to my ability, I honestly do not have the right to desire an improvement or a transformation or a change. The second thing is you must believe. If you're going to bring about change and create value, you must not only accept responsibility for problems you didn't solve, but you must believe in your capacity to use your voice to initiate, guide, and instruct, and lead the change that will come from there. See, you must commit. You must commit your voice and your time and your platforms to ensure that your message is safely getting to the people whom you are sent to create that change. And the last one is, you got to go beyond talking about it, you got to do something about it. And until you deliver the results in line with your purpose and your intent, then you keep on keeping on. You find ways to collaborate. You find ways to create products. You find ways to create marketing. You find ways. You must do all, because in the end, at the end of the day, you will never be rewarded for your intent. You'll be rewarded for your impact. The greatest value you will deliver is to help people move from where they are to where they want to be. in a situation where they want to be is not where they need to be, then it is your responsibility to influence them to a higher calling and a higher purpose as to where they can be. Do you know what the people you are trying to add value, do you know what they consider value? Do you understand them? Do you understand their needs? Because there are, write this down, these are the things that people consider greatly valuable and they're willing to pay gold for. Number one, people are willing to pay for something that is important. So priority. You want to speak for gold? Speak to the things that are on the top of the agenda. Like I said, right now, priority of most leaders, and this is from my experience and just the coaching that I've had, is clarity. Most of them are trying to declutter, and that phase is changing now. Now most of them are coming into a place of clarity. Now most of them are now in the phase of alignment. Okay? The third thing is urgent. Whatever is urgent commands extra value. It commands superior value. And you guys know this already, because if there's ever been any of you that waited like me, always waits till the day before the Owambe to go and sew your cap. You'll be wondering, after you have collected, is there anybody like me? Just confess there. Just raise your hand if you are one of those people. Like as if you didn't know that they were going to get married. Or you did not remember that, but why must, but you see, that's the thing. And so you pay a tailor, express, or today as they're doing, they say, okay, delivery is 4 to 5 days. But if you want next day delivery, that is the power of understanding urgency and leveraging it. Anytime you are able to use your voice to solve problems that are urgent, you will receive gold. Number 5, people pay for specialized expertise. I'm going to say that again. People pay more, they pay gold for specialized expertise. As you guys know, specialist doctors always earn more than general practitioners. My question is, what are you a specialist in? A general practitioner knows something about everything. A specialist knows everything about something. And the more you begin to dig deeper into an area, the greater the value you will command in that area. So I'm asking you today, if I was to ask what is your area of specialization, what will it be called? Write it down. You don't have to tell me now, but write it. What are you known to be the greatest at? Number 4 was excellent quality. Not average, excellent. I dare say exceptional quality. Number 5 is, I said, specialized expertise. Number 6, people pay more for reputed expertise, for a reputation, for a brand that they can trust. When people have heard your name, when they have heard about you, they will pay more for you. But when you build a reputation of expertise and you build a brand in an area, whereas the 5 things that determine your brand: number 1, that your name is recognized. Number 2, that your name is recognized for something. Number 3, that your name is recognized as best in something. Number 4, that your name is recognized for something people need. And number 5, that people are willing to pay for. Then you have a solid brand. Next, people pay more for whatever is a scarce resource. Scarcity enhances value. That's why you pay more for petrol when there's fuel scarcity. This is based on a particular principle called irreplaceability. It's one of the most powerful principles in the world, that the more difficult it is to find someone to replace the value you create, the more valuable that value is. So in whatever the area of your expertise, can we find easily somebody else to do the job if you don't do it? A gentleman called me one day and said to me that he had been at a Tisalat and they were going to run a training program. And that the MD of a Tisalat at that time had said to him, oh, so were you guys able to get Fela? And they had reached out to me and I was not available for that day. And the MD said, well, if we can't have Fela, you know what, then take it out. I don't want it. Because they had first tried to move the day for a retreat to fit my availability. And because I still was not available, the guy said, okay, you know what, we don't even want to do. So the guy called me and said to me, guy, whoever is doing your jazz, please, I want to know him. That's what he said to me. Whoever is doing your jazz, I want to know him. There is no way an organization of this size can cancel a retreat if you are not there. Now it is, somebody will say, what is it that Fela was going to say that they would decide that they are not if they can't hear it? But what I told the guy was, you know, I've failed. That's what I told him. He said, you have failed? I said, yes. I said, I have passed the place of fruitfulness. I have entered into the realm of multiplication. And if my kind can still not be found, then I've not done a good job at the new level that I'm on. I immediately called some of my boys and I lashed them and I told them, see, come and sit down. It must never be heard again that Fela Durotoye or nobody. That it must never again be heard. But, should be told, the more scarce your capacity to deliver, the more valuable you are. Let me go to the next one. Next. I think this is number 10. The more relevant your solution is, the more valuable it becomes. If you sell rings, you are not likely to sell to somebody who is not interested in engaging, especially if you sell engagement rings. An engagement ring is of no value to a guy who is not trying to court the girl. A wedding ring is of no value to a single man except he's ready to get married. Make sure that the people that you are speaking to, what you're saying to them is relevant to them. 9, people pay more for things that are trending. And some of you know that this is why certain times, you know, during summer, there are certain kinds of clothing that are trending and people are paying for them. Once summer is over, those clothing lose value and they put them on sale at a fraction of the value that they sold for a month before. Because the weather has changed, it's no longer the trend. There are times when, you know, it was skinny jeans at some point in time, and maybe it was bells at some point. If it's no longer trending, it has no value. You've got to understand the times and seasons. You've got to understand what is trending. You've got to be able to speak to the things that are the key issues that are, in a sense, the things that are commanding people's attention. And there are times when there are certain designers. I mean, look at it. Last year in entertainment, it was pretty much Naira Marley that was trending. Anybody remember that? Year before then, it was Burna Boy. Year before then, it was maybe Wizkid. But people pay for trends, right? The challenge, though, is that the difference between a star and a superstar is that stars trend for a little while and fade. Superstars stay trending. So when you see Two-Face Idibia, Two-Face has been trending and has not stopped trending. Beyonce, trending and has not stopped trending. Those are superstars. So if you're going to be a superstar in your game, you've got to be able to constantly ride the wave. And when the wave comes down, there's another one that is going to come right on top, you know. You've got to stay constantly surfing the waves. Next, number 10, people pay for things that are exclusive. In other words, things that do not have easy access. The more difficult it is to access a thing, the more exclusive it is. And therefore, people will pay for it. Number 11, people pay for things that are more convenient. In other words, people will pay more for the convenience of the thing rather than go all the way. So which means that today, if you're in business and you cannot make it convenient for your customers to engage you, right? People are not going to pay. Next, number 12, people will pay for fantastic packaging. I need you to understand that if I gave you a wristwatch in a cellophane bag and I gave you a wristwatch in a leather case, you will pay more for the wristwatch in a leather case, even though you know that the first thing you will do to be able to wear the wristwatch is take it out of the leather case. You will never wear the leather case. You will never wear the box. And today, if I'm not sure how many watch aficionados you have here, I love watches. If you see the kind of casings that wristwatches are coming in today, it's insane. If you go on Instagram, it's unbelievable, especially Jacob & Co. It's just unbelievable. But packaging is everything. I saw the increase in my earnings in the banking sector when I started wearing pocket squares in 2004. I saw it. I saw the difference in my in the earnings. I was dealing with all these other things, but I was taking care of the packaging also. So I always say, let your content be rock solid. Let your delivery be amazing. And let your presentation be wow. Number 13, people will pay more for anything that is attributable impact. In other words, proven results. If people use your voice or the message and it produces something in their lives, if you say you're a coach and you coach someone, you've got to be able to see what it is that happened before and after. And the greater the difference, the greater the value you command. Number 14, people pay for anything that is on the cutting edge. Innovation, new. I don't know how many people remember when MTN first came out, we paid 75,000 naira to get an MTN line, to get a SIM card, 75,000. Every time a new phone comes out, people will pay higher for that new phone than the previous phone, even though their previous phone is still working. Number 15, people pay for an amazing experience. No matter what it is that you deliver, if people find the experience of it so powerful, so exhilarating that they cannot forget that encounter with you, or the process that they enjoyed to partake of that encounter. In other words, when what you deliver creates such a memory that people want to enjoy it again and again and again, then you will earn gold. Because in the end, everything is tied back to this one thing at the center. What people remember from encountering you. So the experience, when they called your office, how difficult was it to get to you? How excited were you to engage? Did you come late for the meeting? Did you deliver the invoice on the day you said you will? Did you come? Did you keep your promises? How was the engagement with you? How did they feel having listened to you? They haven't even done the transaction. Then, when they were doing the transaction, how did they feel throughout the transaction? Then, after the transaction, when you are now putting your invoice out and collecting your money, how did they feel? The way they feel about you will either be memorable or you will be forgotten. And if people cannot remember how they felt about you, they will not pay to have you again.